On this episode of Moon Monkey, we're going to be talking about John Wick, Chapter 2, directed by Chad Stahelski.
So imagine if you're listening to this, wanting to know a bit about John Wick 2. So if you've seen John Wick 1 right after, and he's going after his car, and if you've seen John Wick 1, basically more of the same.
Yeah.
But just dialed up by times 100.
I couldn't even really remember too much about John Wick 1 going in to see this, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, it's John Wick. I love John Wick 1.
Yeah.
And did you like? I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I liked it. I just couldn't remember what happened in it really. Like I remember that he shot a lot of people and there was a lot of action scenes, but I couldn't remember why. Oh, the first film they killed his dog, and then he goes after like the Russian gangsters.
He goes after.
That's essentially it.
Alfie Allen.
Yeah, this thing. It works.
He doesn't actually go after Alfie Allen to kill it up. He goes after the character.
It works the same as the first one, in which you've got a very simple setup. And then, well, this is even a slightly more complex setup than the first one, which was just straight out revenge. This one has a slightly more twists and turns, but
this goes more into the underworld of the hitman industry.
But the thing is, there's not much exposition in this. It's like a very short scenes of, look, this is your mission, this is what I want you to do, or I need to go and get this guy. They don't spend a lot of time explaining it or explaining what's going on. You kind of pick it up as you're going on.
Yeah.
So essentially, at the beginning of this one, it has a fantastic action sequence. The first, 15, 20 minutes of him trying to get his car back from these gangsters and taking out a ton of guys.
Really impressive. And
they're just building up this character to kind of legendary status.
He was already quite legendary in the first one, but this takes it even further.
Yeah, and like every time people talk about him, it's just in whispers, and they're like, "Oh, John Wick,
he's dead.
He's coming back." Yeah. The boogeyman, John Wick, is coming back to get everyone. So in this one you have that fantastic sequence, and then another assassin comes to John Wick and essentially says, "Look, I've got a job for you. You've got to kill somebody who's on the High Council of Assassins. It's my sister."
You have to do sister's job.
Because in this world, if you've made like a blood oath, like you have to take the job if you've promised that you're going to do something for someone.
Even though you're retired.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He's constantly getting dragged back out of retirement.
He just wants to be a man of peace.
He basically gets dragged back into the world of like high level assassins.
Yeah.
The film like has such a great comedic sensibility because you have this like setup with the hotel. I forget the Continental hotels, which seem to be all around the world, and it's a hotel which is used by assassins,
which nobody can be killed in.
Yeah, and the hotel has its own rules where you're not allowed to fight or take out a hit on someone or kill people inside the hotel, and you have the coins which are like can pay for
the gold coins,
someone to be killed,
the massive
gold doubloons.
Yeah, no explanation as to what the gold coins are about.
Yeah,
fantastic.
But that's the thing about this film, like, it doesn't take itself too seriously, I don't think. Like, it realises it's kind of a ridiculous premise, but it's all consistent within the world.
More martial arts this time, I'd say. Choreographed killing throughout, but more martial arts than the last one.
The choreography was great of, like, whatever kind of martial arts he's doing, Kung Fu, Krav Maga. And the gun, even the gun work was really good as well. I know, like, Keanu Reeves went through a lot of, like, military training to learn how to, like, fire weapons and look professional doing it. And obviously, like, from The Matrix, he's done a lot of films where he does martial arts, so he's pretty proficient at that.
And Lawrence Fishburne's in this too.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne, again, like, expanding the world. You've got this group of assassins who are kind of like a homeless network across the city. And that was like fantastic because they're able to communicate with each other and use their own networks. This is the thing, in this world it seems like everyone is an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's scenes where you have kind of almost everyone seems to be in on this world. It's set in the real world. Well, it's not set in the real world. It's set in a real physical place, but the world is not.
They're in New York and Rome.
Yeah, but the world is not real in the sense of like this group does not really exist, because in this world, like people don't really bat an eyelid to see two people like firing at each other in the street or running around and stabbing each other.
I think the public do.
Well, there was the scene when they had like the concert and they jumped up on stage and like killed somebody,
That's a concert though.
and everyone just started dancing.
Anything goes at a concert.
And there's a bit
If you're
like,
in the mosh pit.
like in train stations or outside, it's kind of a crazy world, but it works in the logic of the film. It all kind of makes sense. But yeah, I thought it was a good sequel. And there was some great kind of characters in there as well. I liked the silent assassin that they had. It was a Ruby Rose, plays a kind of mute assassin who just communicates through sign language. And I like the way that when the subtitles come up, it's in a kind of heavily stylized way.
And I liked it. I loved the first one. I loved the first one because it had the mix of the music. It's got the same guy doing the music.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a Marilyn Manson song. And it really fitted with the first one.
Yeah.
And this one, I feel like the music just didn't capture it as much. And it was slightly more complex. And they're trying to describe this huge hitman underworld that's going on around the globe.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they did it completely well about what was entirely going on.
In the first one?
The first one I loved. The first one they didn't really go into that. The second one they're trying to be more complex and open it up a bit more. I don't think they did it entirely well. And to be honest, I just didn't love this one as much. It was good. It was really good. If you like just people going around shooting people, it's very entertaining. It is entertaining. I did enjoy it. I came out, I enjoyed it, but I just didn't think it was as good as the first one. That's what I'd say.
Okay.
But I thought like it was really good. I mean, you had them in the catacombs in Rome. It was like a video game, especially that scene where he was just going up and down the catacombs trying to fight his way out, and you just had people come around the corner, and you had to deal with each one.
I might have to go back and rewatch the first one because I loved this one. But it's maybe just because I remember this more than I remember the first one.
I just really loved the first one because it was more about the revenge and it was more simplistic.
Oh yeah,
and it just felt really fresh. And it's always hard to do a sequel.
But I felt like this one.
No, this wasn't terrible. I'm not saying it was terrible. I think it was good. I just don't think it was as good as the first one.
Okay, yeah.
If I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah, the first one was like a very traditional kind of 80s style, almost action film, where it was like a very simple premise. And then most of the time is taken up with action sequences. Whereas like a lot of films nowadays, you have too much exposition and too much explaining the world and setting up the characters. I heard the writers of this films talking about how they wanted to create this world, but they don't want to like explain it to everyone. They just want to show it to you.
Yeah.
But they said like they've worked out all the kind of rules and how this all works, but they don't want to like burden you with all this information, so they just show you it and you kind of
I liked how there wasn't a lot of exposition, there wasn't a lot of dialogue, and even had the mute character, which really says it all.
Yeah.
You could say it all with a look as well. It was done well like that. It was like a spaghetti western, you could tell from the eyes.
I don't think Keanu Reeves even has too many lines in
this.
No,
he doesn't. I mean, I think like the most is near the end of the film where they're kind of hinting at a third one, which they'll probably do. And I'll go and see the third one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is like a series which like you would be happy to watch another couple of films in this same series, because it's just like the world can be endlessly, as long as they have the creativity to come up with new interesting fight sequences, which this one does. You've got a great fight on the train. The first one, like I said, when he's getting his car back, there was a fantastic like driving chase sequence and fight sequence and gun sequences. Yeah, there was even we mentioned after we saw the film, there was a reference to Enter the Dragon at the end.
Yeah.
Like, this is a film, I think, which they know their history of action films and martial arts films. So probably if you're a martial arts fan, there's stuff in there where you'll see influences from other movies. So they have a scene at the end in kind of a Hall of Mirrors, which was really cool.
It was. I would say it's very entertaining, and John Wick was one of my favourite characters of recent years, and I was excited to see the sequel. And I hope they make another one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but the second one just had something missing from the first one. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, I would just recommend this movie to like action movie fans, martial arts movie fans. Like not a lot of depth in the film. It's not so much about character. It's just more about fantastic choreography and action sequences and kind of high adrenaline. I mean, we saw this movie pretty late, but like, there's no way you could get bored watching this because it's just like action sequence after action sequence and really exciting. So that was our review of John Wick Chapter 2. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with another review.